From Learfield. This is the Jake Diebler Show. Presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint. And brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with Coach Jake Diebler and former Ohio State captain Ron Stokes, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Well, welcome to our first of the season, our weekly show with Ohio State basketball coach Jake Diebler, presented by Roosters here on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield. The Buckeyes now 5-2, getting ready to start Big Ten play Wednesday at Maryland. And Jake, something that you've talked about and we've asked you about is having the kind of non-conference schedule and a game like Friday's against Pittsburgh, despite the result, something that you look at ideally getting your team ready for conference play?
Absolutely. I think, we wanted to schedule aggressively in the non-conference because of, one, the respect we have for this league, and two, I think, it's building a resume for the NCAA tournament. How you schedule is an important part of that. So we wanted to be, we wanted to play in big games, marquee games, wanted to get a game at home, and thought we had a great crowd of that Pitt game, and really put ourselves in position to win twice against a really good team, and just a couple missed free throws, a couple fouls, and didn't get the result we wanted. But there's some real positives to take from that game. And, we have obviously Big Ten play coming up, and then some continued big non-conference games after that.
Coach, you've talked about the depth that this team has, and one way to kind of really see if your team can deal with it, with issues, is that Micah Parrish and Sean Stewart both picked up 2 fouls early in the game. Just talk about how you were able to manage that with 2 of your starters being out for most of the first half.
Yeah, I had every intent and even told those guys in the first half to stay ready because I was planning on putting them back in the game. But we were able to build that lead and maintain that lead, so I felt like the risk of picking up the 3rd foul wasn't necessary at that point. So it speaks to the depth. I thought, Evan Mahaffey in that stretch was able to step up and do some really good things. We were able to play Bruce, Michi, and John Mobley together and had some success. So, Austin Parks, I think, gave some minutes in that stretch, and it does speak to our depth, absolutely.
And does that help you when you get like those offensive, defensive substitution type situations?
Yeah, it does. It does. If we can, and fouling's been an issue for us, something we work on daily, and I feel like we're starting to get better. And we had some kind of mental errors from a fouling standpoint at the end of the Pitt game. But, all in all, having the depth that we have allows us to, put specifically end-of-game offensive, defensive lineups that we feel best give us a chance to be successful in a particular possession or maybe a stretch of a game, depending on if you have a lead or if you're, trying to catch up. So that versatility has been really good for us. We'll continue to lean into that.
Coach, when you put together or deploy your defensive strategy, clearly you try to take away the opposition's strengths. And when you look at Pitt, it's in their backcourt. What was the mentality going in to deal with all their pick ball screens and that tremendous quickness that they have in their backcourt?
Yeah, we felt, Ron, that those guards needed to see crowds. We mixed up the coverage at times to try to keep them guessing. One of the things I think we didn't do a great job, which we talked about and worked on leading into the game, was just having our bigs stay between the ball and the rim as their guards, maybe were to get downhill. We certainly didn't want them getting downhill, quickly, but they did at times. And I felt like whether it was fouls or not staying between the ball and the rim, from our bigs was part of the problem. And we didn't execute our defensive coverage quite at the level that we've been doing. And on the flip side, I think you got to give our guys a lot of credit for majority of this, non-conference so far. They have executed really well. We had some breakdowns in our execution there on the ball screen coverage.
So, Coach, the other dynamic when you screen with a guy that can pick and pop, like a Zach Austin for them, what's the other dynamic in trying to take away the guard's penetration, but at the same time dealing with a guy that can pick and pop and shoot effectively.
Yeah, I mean, we switched, some of their ball screen coverage, particularly late when we were playing with a lead to help, protect the three-point line. And oftentimes it's after that initial switch is what becomes really critical. You maybe have some guys in gap positioning that aren't typically used to it. But, I felt like we executed our switches well. It was, if you remember the and one that Lowe got going left, that was a really critical foul. If they just score two there, I think it's a completely different outcome. So we got to get better, at just, I think, guarding with physicality and toughness, which we know is required in this league. We got to get better at, technically. A couple guys, I think for the most part, a lot of our guys are doing a good job, but a couple guys got to keep growing in that area. But a lot of times when someone picks and pops, you can switch to negate that. Or there's a couple other things that we do as backup plans if the switching's not working.
Jake, if you would talk to folks about the importance of communication on defense, something you guys talk about a lot in your practices and shoot-arounds.
Yeah, it's everything. It's everything. I think effort, first and foremost, to be a good defensive team, you got to have great effort, and then you got to communicate. Because when you look across the landscape of college basketball, there's different great defensive teams that are running different schemes. There's not like one or two schemes that you look out and say, oh, that's you have to run that scheme to be elite defensively. Ultimately, it comes down to effort and communication. I think communication is something when you have a lot of new guys together, new staff, right, new team, that's often one of those things that takes some time but to build. But once you can do it, that also shrinks and reduces the time it takes to build chemistry. So I think we're starting to take significant steps towards that. Our defensive communication has gotten a lot better in the last few weeks.
Coach, when you talk about that communication, it comes in all different facets, right? Half-court set, but especially in transition. I know there was a couple times that, Pitt got some stuff from one end to the other, even after scores. What about the area where you can improve it as it relates to communicating with the transition defense? Yeah,
one of the things we talk about is verbal and nonverbal communication. And specifically in transition, it should be five guys communicating. Big part of communication is, we talk about echoing the call. Because a lot of times when you're communicating, you can talk yourself into position. So if you and I, Ron, are involved and you yell switch, well, if I echo your call and I start yelling switch right now, that's kind of triggering in my mind what to do. And so there's depths and layers to communication that we work on daily. But one of the things is verbal, nonverbal. I think both are important, and then echoing the calls and the coverages to help talk yourself into the proper spots and position.
If you have a question, you could submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at ohiostatebuckeyes.com and click on Coach's Show Inbox, Union Home Mortgage. Learn about their 1% down payment program at uhm.com and MLS number 2229. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Or your grandma here with us, making carne asada.
She does love a cold Corona.
Throw in some dancing.
We can watch the game.
I'll drink to that.
So a backyard concert with football, food, dancing, and Corona?
And your grandma.
Or we could keep it simple.
Simple is good. Want a Corona?
Thanks. Salud to the perfect day.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, You want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Hey basketball fans, Credit Union of Ohio wants to help you score more by making life more affordable. It's time to play with a team that helps you win every day. Credit Union of Ohio's loan rates have dropped to provide affordable financing for the things you want and need. It's time to reevaluate your current loans and consider refinancing with a team that cares about you. Check out current specials and get started scoring more money at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to our first show of the season with Ohio State basketball coach Jake Diebler. Time for our Elk and Oak injury report. You've had to go without both Quest Glover and Colin White. Any guessing on or further enlightenment on what their status will be moving into Wednesday in Maryland, Jake?
Yeah, I think those guys are both progressing. I'll get some feedback here before practice today. Hopefully we can start getting them in some of the stuff at least, because we got a big week ahead, and I don't know who will be available yet for Maryland, but certainly as the week progresses, the more guys we can get healthy, the better.
The injury report brought to you by Elk and Oak. Serious fans of Ohio State athletics, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO, go Bucks. And certainly we saw prior to the Pitt game some of the things that Colin White was able to do in some of those other games. Just if you could speak to how big it is for a freshman to get the kind of experience that he got. Yeah,
it felt bad that he got hurt, because I really feel, and certainly we saw some of his impact in the games, but we've been really impressed with how he's gotten more and more consistent in practice, and for him to kind of stall maybe some of that growth with his injury. Hopefully he'll be back here soon and pick right back up where he left off.
Certainly you see all of the things that Bruce Thornton has done, but how has it helped, Jake, that other guys, whether it's Michi Johnson or whoever handling the ball, how that has also helped give you some versatility with your offensive looks?
Well, I think Bruce's efficiency has been so impressive, and we need to be able to take advantage of that with him off the ball some too, because when he's got the ball there in the middle third and all eyes are on him, it makes it tough at times. I think we got to certainly lean on that, but if there's ways we can. And we're looking into ways where we can maybe move him off the ball at times and get some other guys to create that initial action, and then where he can receive the ball in a different spot, either to get a shot or attack a closeout, so to where all eyes just aren't on him. We're working on. We'll implement some things to help with that.
Obviously the game has changed so much in all of college athletics, Coach, and you're 7 games in, but it's not just about getting freshmen's acclimated to your system, but also guys who transfer in. You're talking about Micah Parrish, you're talking about Aaron Bradshaw, you're talking about Michi Johnson. Just talk about the challenge as a head coach to make all that work and make it work quickly so you can build that chemistry that you need.
Yeah, Ron, one of the things that I think has been, for me personally, one of the hardest challenges is balancing what you do and how long you practice, what you do with that time, right? Because as a coach, there's always something more you want to go over. There's always something more you want to cover. But you also want to make sure guys, bodies and minds are ready to play off instinct and with great energy come game day. So that's been one of the things I think for me that's been fun to figure out. We lean on our sports science a great deal. to help make sure that we're ready physically and mentally for game day, but also the balance of making sure that we're covering everything we need to, which I feel like we have. But to your point, specifically our front court, we got a lot of inexperience, and so we're finding ways, whether it's in the mornings or after practice, finding ways to just pour into those guys to try to speed up that growth.
And does some of that tie to what you talked about with a guy like, for example, Sean Stewart, who did not play a lot where he was at before he got here?
Yeah, I think Sean Stewart, Devin Royal's another guy who, limited minutes last year in experience. So, absolutely, Austin Parks, like those guys, the more experience they get, the better we're going to be. And certainly it's hard, right? Because we do play a tough schedule. We've played a tough schedule so far. We have a tough schedule coming up. That's why, I think last game, disappointed we lost the game we should have won. But there were a lot of positive things to take from the game, and we talked about it as a team. Not the result we want. It should hurt. It's like we got to be better in some areas, but there really were some positive things to be in position to win that game really twice. Means we did some things really well against a good team.
Yeah, the one thing that will identify ourselves as the season goes on is like who's going to be the guy to make the play. And to your point, Coach, very impressed with how your upperclassmen responded. I mean, between Micah Parrish and Bruce Thornton, made big shot after big shot down that crucial stretch to put your team in a position to potentially win.
Yeah, I thought, when they took the lead in the second half and we had that really just awful stretch kind of littered with turnovers offensively where they were able to take the lead. But for us to respond the way we did, and then, in the guts of kind of the game could go either way, we were able to surge ahead there by 4 or 5 points. I thought that was something that was really impressive for us. Now, we didn't quite finish it off, whether it was some missed free throws or some bad fouls, but to kind of be in that situation really for the first time collectively, to have to fight back, take the lead, and then surge ahead to really be in position where they're having to foul us at the end of the game was a really good thing. Now we will. I got confidence that we'll step up and we'll make those free throws next time and we'll execute, and not foul some of those costly fouls we had. So I thought there were some really good things to take from it.
From our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions, James in Columbus, how long does it take to get a loss like that run out of the system and move on?
Well, I think our schedule doesn't allow us really to hold on to it too long, but it wasn't a situation where we just completely turned the page right away. We needed to lean into what we didn't do well, the controllable things, and address those. We watched specific segments of the game and kind of in its entirety, not the whole game, but in those segments, offense, defense, the flow of the game, which I thought was really valuable for us. We did it in that stretch where we struggled to score in the second half and then the end of the regulation and overtime. So those just to give you a little insight on kind of how we processed that. But again, it wasn't all bad. I think that's the important part. Certainly some costly things that we'll get better at, but there were some really good things to take from it too, and we talked about all that.
Well, as we know, Coach, those post-game film sessions are painful, especially when as a player that section coming up when you didn't do what you were supposed to do, right? But the most important thing is that you're receptive to it as a player to know that, hey, I didn't get the job done, right? So I maybe let my team down a little bit, but learning from it so it doesn't happen a second or third time.
Yeah, I think, we even talked specifically about kind of how to handle losing in a loss like that, and it should hurt. There should be some pain with that, but we had to really be able. You can't deal in extremes. I think in that situation, you got to be able to grow from it, and that's what this is about right now. Like we have to grow. We got so much season left. We got to keep growing, and I talked about that even before our season started. A lot of this non-conference was going to be about our growth and how quickly we could grow. Certainly would have preferred to grow quickly from a win, but just because the end didn't go exactly the way we wanted, we couldn't let that prevent us from growing.
Roosters wants to congratulate the 12 lucky prize winners in this year's Roosters Buckeye giveaway and say thank you to all the loyal Buckeye fans who helped make Roosters a fun, casual joint. Be sure to visit at Roosters Wings on Facebook or Instagram for the list of prize winners. We'll have more with Coach Diebler when we continue on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at SafeLight.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Get ready, Buckeye fans. Donato's just added something special to the pizza playbook. Introducing Donato's new Block O pizza. Donato's golden thin crust cut in that trademark Block O shape, loaded with crispy pepperoni, smoked provolone cheese, and Buckeye Spirit. It's the perfect pizza for game day or any day in Buckeye country. Now get a Block O pizza for just $10 with any pizza purchase. Order today with the Donato's app or at donatos.com.
Every game, every season, Buckeye Nation comes together to support Ohio State basketball. The Buckeyes make their fans proud by giving it their all on the court. Their hard work, determination, and resilience embody what our state is all about. Every client, every day, Elk & Elk works tirelessly to support the great people of Ohio. A consistent winner in the courtroom, we get injury victims the compensation they deserve. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans celebrate all kinds of game day traditions. The most delicious ones begin at Giant Eagle and Market District, where you can always enjoy the perks of game day. Get ready for kickoff with fresh and prepared foods from Giant Eagle and Market District, or fuel up and grab snacks and drinks on your way to watch the game. You'll earn perks and save no matter where you stop. Giant Eagle, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Your home for Ohio State Athletics, The Fan. Now back to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com, equal housing lender, and MLS number 2229. And welcome back to this week's show with Ohio State coach Jake Diebler. The Buckeyes will open Big Ten play Wednesday at Wisconsin from our Union Home Mortgage inbox. And we know you're kind of limited on some of this, but John and Carol asking any specifics as far as updates regarding the Aaron Bradshaw situation.
Yeah, not yet. No new updates. Still going through university process, and we don't have any new information right now at this time.
Okay. His absence, as well as the foul trouble that Sean Stewart experienced on Friday, that put you in a position to have to kind of play small. But as you talked about, there were some situations you were going to play small anyway. Is there something that kind of you look for advantages you get when you play the three guards against the three guards?
Yeah, I felt like we were able to, really against by all metrics, an elite defensive team. We were able to do really well offensively, and minus that specific stretch in the second half. But even our numbers by the end of the game were really good offensively. So I felt like we took advantage appropriately on that side. Defensively is, and it really we wanted to play bigger. We were struggling with size to contain the ball screen at times, so we felt like going smaller and potentially switching would help us, specifically when we had to lead at the end of the game to protect the three-point line.
Coach, the mentality, coaching is 24/7 when you're out there. You're playing at home. They forced overtime. What's the message to your team before the overtime started?
Well, I think you quickly want to remind our guys, like, hey, we're prepared for this. We've trained for this. We've conditioned for this. We practice hard for this. So that kind of next play mentality becomes really, really important. And we had a shot to win it in regulation, pretty good look. And then we were able to again build that 5-point lead to where all we really needed to do was make a couple more free throws. So I thought we played well in overtime. It just was, again, a couple missed free throws and some of the foulings of the 3-point shooter just ended up being the difference.
John Mobley. Folks now through 7 games have gotten a chance to see what it is that he can do, the excitement he brings. If he would just kind of talk about how he's taken what got him to this point through his high school career and how at this point of the season he's continued to refine his talents.
Well, what's been most impressive is his efficiency, I think, first and foremost. And, certainly people want to gravitate towards his 3-point shooting, the distance at which he can make shots, his ability to make shots on the move or even pull up threes, and all that is great. There's no question. But I've just been really impressed with his complete game. I think for him to have more assists and turnovers, for him to be as efficient as he's been from 2 at this point in his career is all really good stuff. And you're seeing heightened attention already every single time he checks into the game, and he's earned that. And he and I have talked about that. We talked about that back in the fall, where it was like, hey, you're not going to be able to get a lot of good looks, so you got to keep moving. You got to be a great mover off the ball. We'll get the ball in your hands to help you get loose. And his decision making, though, for me, has probably been the most impressive part. But I also knew he was going to be a good shooter, so I get why people why people are impressed with that.
Now, can that also help him with drives to the basket with that attention that he gets?
Yeah, and he's taken advantage of that, a few times, really, where teams are running him off the line and he's getting in the paint. You can see he's got great touch. He's had a couple really nice assists off drives, and he can finish. So, again, like in those moments where teams kind of force you into traffic, as a coach, specifically a guy who played guard, like I'm always evaluating, okay, how do guys handle and process the information, that split-second time you have to read the defense, read the crowd, do you shoot, do you pass, do you keep your dribble? And for a young player, he's really handled that space well. Which, again, for me, certainly his shot making is impressive, but that's been the most impressive part for me.
Coach, as you continue to define Jake Diebler's style of play on both ends of the floor, right now you have 6 guys shooting over 40% and 4 shooting over 50%. Is that what you envisioned when this team came together, that you would have that type of productivity from long range?
Yeah, I felt like, we could be specifically, once we figured out kind of how to turn down maybe just an okay shot for a really good shot, and trusting each other and learning the spacing elements that are important for us offensively. I felt really confident we could be a really good offensive team. But I'm also happy with how we've been playing defensively, aside from really some of the fouls we've had and some of the stretches of rebounding. Those two things. We're playing aggressive. We're forcing turnovers. We're getting some steals. We're guarding the 3-point line really well so far. So there's been some really good things on both sides of the ball. We haven't arrived yet. We got to keep getting better, but. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, those numbers are based on your regulars, the top 8 or 9 guys that get minutes in terms of shooting over 40%. But in terms of this backcourt, going in and looking at your team, I thought obviously that could be your strength, right? Yep. You bring Bruce Thornton back and you put him with any other guards, you're going to be pretty good. But trying to get those 4 guys, including the freshmen. You got Micah Parrish, who transfers in, Bruce Thornton, this is his 3rd year, Michi Johnson coming back for the 2nd time, and obviously a very talented freshman. What are the dynamics in getting those 4 guys to be able to play efficiently together?
Well, I think them trusting each other is an important element, and they've done a good job with that. And it's beneficial for us, and it makes us more dynamic when you have multiple playmakers on the floor at the same time. And so their ability to play make for themselves, because there's some talented shot making there, but also make plays and create good looks for each other, I think has been really, really cool to see. And it's been evident really in our assist numbers. I'd say I've been a little surprised with just how high our assist numbers are. Our assist rate, per made field goal has been really good. I think that's going to be important for us, to be efficient moving forward. But been really happy with that.
Is this where there's a high value on the time they spend in the gym together, even before you guys start practice in October?
Yeah. I think there was a really, and it happened organically, but the connection within this team was obvious really early in the summer. We did things to help facilitate and kind of nurture that, but it happened organically, and that's the best way for it to happen. The part on the court in between the lines was something you're intentional about building that, but you just never fully know how quickly that's going to develop. And I think it's been really good. You're seeing it come out in the way we're playing, and we want to play with pace. Want guys to have opportunity, want guys to play with freedom and confidence. I think you're seeing all of those things, and chemistry plays a big part of that.
Now, you talked earlier, Coach, about wanting to have a true road game before the Big Ten first true road game. Obviously, Maryland's going to be a tough place to play. You got that at Texas A&M. But in all your years as an assistant coach, including your partial year last year as a head coach and this year, it's the toughest schedule that you ever been part of? Start a year?
Yeah. I think when you look at 2 of your 3, away from home, I would imagine that list of high major teams doing that was probably, you could count on one hand or less. And I think not just playing other high majors, but the quality of opponents we've played is something that's going to help us down the road. And again, we're a possession away from really, I think, being in a great position. We got to certainly the intent was to help us get ready for league play. Starting on the road, doesn't matter who you play in this league on the road, it's going to be really hard. It's one of the best things about the Big Ten. There's so much parity top to bottom. So, getting that experience at Texas A&M will help us for Wednesday. Now, Maryland's a really good team. We have to go in there and play really well. There's no question about it. And we'll expect to see their best that they've shown all season, as they're getting ready for Big Ten play. So it's all, I'm excited, though. I'm excited about this week. For us, I like the breakup in the schedule, kind of sneaking these couple Big Ten games in. I think it's fun. I think it's great for the game. And, we're working every single day and really, all day long every day to get ready.
We talk so much about defense, but as you get ready to go on the road, is that where the hope that knowing how shooting at times can be cyclical, the defense can become a constant?
Yeah, we've talked about, one of the things we didn't do well early in the first few games was maybe when we were struggling offensively, our defense didn't hold as firm as we needed it to keep the game in position to where, we could get on a run and take over. I think we've done that, better. Specifically in the second half against, Pitt, we had that stretch offensively where we had the 5 turnovers and didn't score for, whatever it was, 7 minutes. And, defense was tough enough to keep us in range to take a lead. And so defense has to travel. Like, if your defense doesn't travel, and you don't have a chance in this league. So I think we're built for our defense to travel. We're tough, we're physical, and it'll be an important part come Wednesday.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
where more than 1,700 scientists are working on new treatments and new hope for every form of cancer.
You're making the choice to have the most advanced treatments, many of which were developed right here.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com. For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint. With their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind or grab a carryout. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. Your home for Buckeye basketball. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
The Foundation is operating a 50-50 raffle at each Ohio State home men's basketball game this season, with proceeds supporting community-based NIL opportunities and the Foundation charities. For more information on how you can participate, visit the Foundation's social media channels. And welcome back to this week's show with Ohio State coach Jake Diebler, as the Buckeyes get ready to open Big Ten play Wednesday at Maryland. You alluded to him a little bit, Jake, but can you enlighten us a little more about what you've seen from Maryland and getting ready for this?
Yeah, really good team. And really good team at home. You know, they play with a great deal of pace, and then they, have changing defenses and different defensive schemes. Will press some, so taking care of the ball is going to be really, really important. They have a talented freshman in Queen who's, gotten off to a great start in his career, and Reese, is a familiar name who's back. So it's very much going to be a tough game, and they're a good team. And, Coach Willard's done a really good job there. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
Coach, when you look at Coach Willard, this is his 3rd year. When you're going against a team that he's coaching, what's typically things that you got to deal with? I know they'll press, but what are some of the things you got to always be prepared for when you face his teams?
Got to be prepared for their aggressiveness defensively. They fly around. They're quick to rotate and will trap some, and so you got to be prepared to break the press initially, certainly, but also their aggressiveness in the half court has been a staple of his, and then offensively they're playing faster this year, and so we got to be mindful of certainly being able to get some offensive rebounds, but also getting back and and making them play in the half court offensively.
Yeah, they're averaging about 22 points a game off turnovers.
Yeah.
So that's part of their deal.
Yep.
We got to take care of that ball.
Got to take care of the ball.
No, that's always the case. We know that. From our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions, Ron in Salina. Not surprising that he's asking about
That's not
Austin.
me, Coach.
No, it's not. But asking about Austin Parks and what you've seen with his development from last year to this year.
You know, I think Austin's progressing, and you know, my biggest challenge for him has been, you know, to just invest the time necessary to grow quickly. And so, you know, Austin was physically dominant, right, in high school and didn't get to go against a lot of guys with size. Certainly college is different. And so you have to find other ways to grow your game. You can't just rely on a size and strength advantage. I think he's starting to embrace that more and more. And, you know, his maybe didn't get to play against, you know, as significant a competition growing up, but now he's seeing it every single day in practice, and that'll help his growth as well.
You know, the speed of the game, I know it's an adjustment as point guards. When I went from high school to college, just the pace of the game. But when you're talking about a big like Austin Parks, who, like you say, you don't necessarily face this every day in high school, but dealing with the quickness, Coach, I know like in the game against Pitt, we talked about their ball screens for so much part. What are all the things that a big has to deal with being able to defend that appropriately?
Yeah, well, I think there's some technical aspects to, you know, foot positioning and hand positioning and body positioning that, you know, he's got to continue to get better at, and really a couple guys not alone in that. But, you know, I think the biggest thing, and we keep telling our guys, is you got to position your body between the ball and the rim. You know, as a big guy, you got help around you, but, you know, in ball screen coverage specifically, that ball should never have a direct sight to the rim. You should always be between that until that guard, you know, is back in front. And, you know, I think that's an area for us, you know, specifically against the team in Pitt who was just over and over and over again coming off handoffs and ball screens. We did pretty well for stretches, and they made us pay because they have good guards. When you do have a breakdown, they make you pay. And
they have talent. They got talent.
Oh yeah, they're a good team. They're a good team, and I was impressed probably most with. It felt like in the flow of games, there's going to be mistakes, right? It's an imperfect game. Not everybody has an ability to make you pay over, you know, every time. Felt like their guards did. Every time there was a mistake, they made us pay. So, you know, we need our forwards to grow quickly on that defensive side, so we can take that next step.
Not just in the case of Austin Parks, but in everybody else. And we saw Friday, he gets a couple of baskets. When somebody sees success happen, can that be another important step in their growth?
I think confidence is a great complement to growth. You know, confidence impacts growth significantly. So hopefully he's getting more and more confident, and that'll speed up, you know, his growth. Same thing with a guy like Sean Stewart. You know, get more and more confident. That'll speed up that growth. I think you're seeing that with Evan Mahaffey, you know, a little bit this year. Guy playing with more confidence, and you're seeing his growth, you know, as well. So yes, confidence can be a great help.
Is Evan a guy now that is looking a little more offensively than maybe what we saw last year?
I think he's playing with more confidence. Yeah, I think he's you know, Evan's unique because he's a playmaker to some degree, because he can cut, he can drive, and then he reads crowds pretty well. You know, I think his assisted turnover numbers, you know, are pretty good so far this year. So we need him to be aggressive, because if teams are going to maybe help off of him more, we got to be able to make him pay for that, and he's done a good job with it this year.
Because when you talk about that confidence, and that's something that you just don't get on the court, below the bright lights, but also in practice. How do you help guys develop the confidence when it's not just in the game?
Yeah, well, I think it's what you do before and after practice is part of it. You kind of earn the right to play well in practice, and then by playing well in practice, you earn the right to play well in the games. And so I don't think you can skip steps. You know, when it comes to building confidence, you gotta work to get it, And it starts with your individual work with coaches and you're watching film, and then when you see yourself and feel yourself be successful in practice, that gives you, I think, the confidence to go do it in the game. So we try to create opportunity for guys to build some of that in practice, certainly. But make no mistake, you gotta earn it.
All right, we'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield. Hey, Buckeye Nation, Paul Keels here for my other favorite nation, Window Nation. If you're a fan of scoring, you're going to love this. Window Nation is going nuts with an incredible offer just for you. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free plus 0 down and 0 payments with 0 interest for 2 years. And if you order a full house of windows, you'll be part of a full house at the Shoe with tickets to a Buckeye game. Call Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Tell them Paul sent you for the Buckeyes Full House Special.
Hey, Ohio State fans, it's time to root the Buckeyes on to victory. You gotta scream to cheer on your team. But when you want to chill, try the Buckeyes Frozen Cherry Float at Burger King. Sweet cherry flavor, mixed with smooth vanilla soft serve. Grab 1 or 2 and refresh today when you're rocking the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Hey, basketball fans, Credit Union of Ohio wants to help you score more by making life more affordable. It's time to play with a team that helps you win every day. Credit Union of Ohio's loan rates have dropped to provide affordable financing for the things you want and need. It's time to reevaluate your current loans and consider refinancing with a team that cares about you. Check out current specials and get started scoring more money at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint. With their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind or grab a carryout. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners American Electric Power, Kroger, Donato's, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus. And supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care. And welcome back to our show this week as Ohio State gets ready for their first 2 Big Ten games, Wednesday at Maryland, Saturday at home with Rutgers. Jake, we've been taking so much time talking to you about players. We should ask you about your coaching staff. You had to put, when the season ended last year, and the whole new coaching staff together. And certainly it's not new now, but you had to go through the process of assimilating everybody together with one another. If you would just talk about all of that.
Yeah, been really impressed with just how close the staff has become and how well that, everyone's worked together. I shouldn't be surprised. I think we have just some elite professionals on our staff, guys with a great deal of experience, different degrees of experience certainly, but the pieces have, when you're putting a staff together, you want, fit's important, right? You need talent, you need like ability and fit, and the pieces have fit even better than I think I could have anticipated. So it's been a real blessing to have these guys here.
You talk about that chemistry, Coach, in terms of on the court, but it's also in coaching, right? So some of the relationships you've had with some of these guys in particular, Coach Dickerson, right? How important is that when you come to deciding on who you're going to have on your staff?
Well, he was the first guy, that I hired, and it really – I had always thought, like, man, if I become a head coach, a guy like Dave Dickerson would be great to have on staff. And he was a head coach, so I would, when I was getting interviewed at some other jobs, I'd always call him, hey, would you, and he'd kind of joke and laugh with me a little bit. And then when I got to call him about this one, it was a little different response.
He was the head coach twice.
And his experience, Ron, like, people may not fully see it, but I lean on him in game, certainly at times, but his wisdom and depth of experience has been something I've leaned on, and it's been really beneficial for me personally, but our program as well.
And his experience here at Ohio State, that had to be a big factor also.
Well, I think he was on the last staff that went to the Final Four here, and played a really significant role in that run and that those teams of that era. And the thing about that, he loves Ohio State too. Like, this isn't just a job for him. Like, he cares deeply about this place, and you can feel it with the way he coaches and how he communicates. So certainly him having success here was an important, to add that. But I think his affection and passion for Ohio State and Ohio State basketball is something that's really valuable for us.
It's interesting. I remember talking to Thad prior to him hiring, Coach, and he said to me, he didn't tell me who it was. He said, man, if I get this one guy, it's going to be so important. Then when he made a decision, then you looked at his resume, right? He's on Gary Williams' staff when he won a national title at Maryland. One of those guys that you can count on. He's steady, can relate to players, and obviously support you as a coach. So, yeah, he's been successful in a number of places as assistant coach.
Well, I think what's been great for me, Ron, and is Dave, like, he's direct, and it's something that really serves me well. Ultimately, right, when we may not see things the exact same way, ultimately it's my decision. But I think having a guy that you trust in his experience, you trust in his knowledge, you trust in his wisdom, it makes it almost helps kind of check your own process a little bit and be able to say, hey, am I sure I'm looking at this the right way, or is this the better way? And that's really helpful for a head coach.
Is having a staff of different experiences coming together kind of a key in some of that? Yeah,
I think if in my opinion, if you bring a bunch of guys together who maybe have the same experience or similar strengths, it's hard to maybe for guys to carve out a path to be their best. I think we have some really, really complementary pieces to each other, and probably importantly, to me and who I am. So we have international experience. We got, tons of high major experience. We have winning experience, deep runs in the tournament experience, overcoming some adversity, experience in that, and varying degrees of time in college basketball. But I've been really impressed, Paul, with just how well this group has worked together, and they've been an important part of our success.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it as always. We'll see you in Maryland on Wednesday.
All right, guys. Thanks. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. Thanks for listening to today's show with Ohio State coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Roosters, also statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio. Join us Wednesday night as Ohio State's at Maryland. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:45. For Skip Mossick, Colin Derringer, Ron Stokes, and Coach Jake Diebler, this is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Is it time for a new or used car? Visit Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161, home of the Tansky Promise, where our salespeople aren't paid on commission. We have a 72-hour exchange policy, and every transaction is upfront and transparent. You can even start the process at home. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to start your purchase today and to see all of this month's specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Time to work on your gift list with Black Friday deals at the Home Depot. Right now, get a select tool from top brands like Ryobi and Milwaukee for free when you buy a select battery kit. Choose from reciprocating saws, multi-tools, sanders, and more. Whether you're stocking up on power for your personal workshop or grabbing the perfect gift for someone else's. Get Black Friday tool deals delivered from the Home Depot. Limit 1 per transaction. Exclusions apply. Full eligible tool list in-store and online.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove, not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. Oh no, I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my 2 best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn